I got to say something that hurts me a little bit to say. It may just be the best battery life of 2024. Maybe. Now, so little backstory. I had the iPhone 15 Pro Max. When I first got it, it started off maybe around like 7.5 hours of screen on time. And I was generally okay with it, but the problems from the get-go were terrible heat issues. Like it would get super hot when it would charge. It would even stop charging because it would get too hot. My battery health after a year was 87%. I had 400 charging cycles. And yeah, I just was generally not impressed because by time it got to the last month or two, I was getting 4.5 to 5 hours of screen on time. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible. So I actually had high hopes for this phone, and I was like, man, this thing has got to turn things around. And I'm happy to tell you, yesterday was a little bit of an eye-opening experience because I had my expectations a little curtailed because the first day, and I told you in my video yesterday, never, ever, ever, ever evaluate the battery on the first day. Here's why. On the first day, I had started off with like 91% battery. I got down to 20% battery and I had like 4 hours and 46 minutes or something like that of screen on time. Like really not good. Like not good at all. I was like, man, this is not good. I really hope things are better tomorrow. And yesterday, as I got down to the 20% warning last night, I was looking at it and I kind of looked at it throughout the day and I was like, okay, this doesn't seem like it's going all that great. But in reality, it was because my day started really early yesterday. And at the end of the day, when I got down to 20% battery, I had 8.8 hours of screen on time. I pushed a little bit further to 18% battery life left, 9 hours of screen on time. So that means for every 20%, you're getting like 1.5 hours of screen on time. I could have rocked all the way till dead, probably got 11 hours of screen on time out of it. And that's really impressive. The iPhone 16 Pro Max battery, if it can maintain this, is the best battery in an iPhone since the 13 Pro series. And the 13 Pro, in my mind, is still the best ever in the history of mankind. And I don't know how they did it, what they did, but that chip and the battery, it was like kismet. It was the best it had ever been, and by a wide margin. I mean, even the Samsungs with their 5,000 milliamp batteries are only getting like 9.5, 10 hours. I got 13 hours of screen on time with my 13 Pro. And that was back in the days when I still only carried the 13 Pro, not the Pro Max. Always have hated the Pro Max because it's so big, and this one is no different. Like it's gigantic, 6.9-inch screen. It is unwieldy. It hurts my finger because I hold on to this thing for a really long time and use it all day long. But yeah, battery life, absolutely insane. But I want to show you something, and I'll jump to we'll do the top down view here in a minute. But when you go into the settings and then you go to battery, there's something that I want you to look at. So when you pull up battery right here, it's going to tell you your battery for the last 24 hours. And mine says that I had 10 hours and 44 minutes of screen on time. And that's very true. But that doesn't take into consideration the fact that I've already charged it back to 100% during that time. So if you want to get your actual battery charge metrics, you actually have to go in and look by the numbers and look at each hour and then add them up, and it will tell you, okay, you had this much battery time, use this much battery time this hour. So that's how you get an accurate picture. I get some people who are like, oh, I got 14 hours of screen on time. Well, yeah, you charged your phone two times during that time period. So yeah, I'm actually really, really excited by this. And for any of the battery haters out there, just so you know how Apple works, Apple is different than Android. Android, you have to use it for like 5 days so the adaptive battery can kick in. And then it's like, okay, now this is what your actual battery is going to get. And usually it's like a little bit more. Like let's, for instance, say if I were testing the battery on my S24 Ultra. And so you get the S24 Ultra, you go and you test the battery. You have to use this phone for about 5 days solid. And then there's a feature in Android called adaptive battery, and it kind of learns your routines, learns what you're using, not using, turned on, turned off, how your routines, and it will optimize your phone experience, save you some extra battery. Usually it gets me about an extra hour, hour and a half. Like it's nothing groundbreaking, but it is a little bit that matters. The iPhone is not that way, but I always caution temperance on the first day because my wife was laughing when I was saying this as I was editing my video yesterday. The first day of your phone's life is the best day, it's like the most exciting day in your life with that phone, but it's that phone's worst day ever. Like you take it out of the box, and it would be like me, like fat, old, and out of shape, putting on some new clothes and going to trying to run a marathon. Like it's just, it's very taxing, right? I mean, even running a mile at this point would be taxing. And I do make that joke, but I'm like seriously disabled. Like I'm 100% disabled from the military. Like I can't run anymore. So the guy who told me to get a treadmill, where you can take all that business. But yeah, I used to be in really good shape. Before I got injured, I could run 5 miles and bench press over 300 pounds. But after my injuries, I can't do that anymore. So when you take a look at the iPhone and you take it out of the box, it's shiny, it's beautiful, unless you have the titanium, the Desert Titanium Edition, which I gotta say, like my light in here doesn't do this phone justice. If it looked like this all the time, I would be in love with this color, but it's not. It's like I have all these yellow Philips lights right here, and I have a contrast with a big white shop light over there. So I have a mixture of lighting in here, but it is more yellow, and it makes the iPhone look better than it is in real life. You take it out in the sun, it looks washed out. Like it's misleading. It's not nearly as good looking as you would hope that it would be. But anyway, so yeah, you take it out, beautiful phone. You're like, all right, let's fire this up. Like you're putting this phone through its paces. You're downloading everything. You're restoring it from the cloud. You're installing stuff. You're messing around with the camera. You're tooling around with the new camera features, which the camera and the screen being on are the biggest battery drainers ever. You've got the screen on more than you normally do because you're getting everything set up how you want it, right? You're having to get all your passwords set up, your account set up. You have to go through and optimize everything. The first day of your phone's life is the worst day it will ever experience, ever. So yeah, that's why the first day I got barely 5 hours of screen on time about, and then lo and behold, I go ahead and use it the next day after everything's established, cooled down, no issues. Bam, basically like 10, 11 hours screen on time. Like that's insane. And it's insane that I use my phone that much. But as I like to remind people, this is my job. I do this for a living. I've been testing this phone rigorously for the last couple of days ever since I took it out of the box. So I'm very happy to report that. I'm very happy to let you know this may be the best, better than the S24 Ultra. And it's weird because you see like Mr. Who's the Boss, and he's like, oh no, the S24 Ultra wins. The S24 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp battery. Maybe under certain conditions, you could get better battery life if you put it on like light mode or something like that. I don't know. But the most I ever really got was about 8.5 out of my S24 Ultra. But then it's had a lot of issues, like with the battery life, especially within the first couple months after it came out. People were reporting getting horrible battery life, and it's recovered, but it's not as good as this. So I don't know what Mr. Who's the Boss did, but I think he got better battery life. The only battery life on a phone that's been better or competitive with this for me is the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6, which has like insane battery. So both of these phones, anyway, it's not available in the US. So this is probably the best battery life you're going to see in a phone, period, for a little while. And it hurts me to say that. Like that's why I said the truth hurts, because I like the iPhones just fine. They're whatever, but I like, come on guys, like S24 is going to hold the title, right? No, this one takes the cake for me in that department, and hopefully it's reassuring for you. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to show you a brief way how to calculate your own battery life so you can know, and then I'll let you go because I want to go get some kolaches. I'm hungry. So let's go. Let's do this. Like I said, once you come in here and look at the battery life, if you look at the overall battery life, it'll be like, oh yeah, this is all of it right here. So it'll tell you when you pop in. This is, if I get it. Yeah, screw this. It's annoying. All right, so there we go. Yeah, it says I've got right here 8 hours and 44 minutes, but it's cut off the best 2 hours of my day yesterday. So if you want to go in and figure out your own battery life, you have to look at the 24-hour. You look at the 100% charge cycle. So right here it got to 100%, and then you go to where it starts going down, because that's where I took it off the charger. So basically the last hour, and I've used it 23 minutes off the charger. So that's great and all, but if you look at the individual hours from yesterday, 27 minutes. The next one, 28 minutes. Right here, the next one, 30 minutes. Right here, 30 minutes, 19 minutes, 37 minutes, 27 minutes. So if you go through and you look at the last 100%, So you basically have to do it in the same day so you can calculate exactly how much battery life you're getting in one day. And that's how that works. So don't ever trust don't ever trust Apple, because Apple will be like, "Oh, no, bro. You got like 14 hours." No, if you it calculates the entire 24-hour period, not just the day that you used it. And then if you look at last four, like right here, 9 hours and 32 minutes, that was during that day. So it doesn't even factor into that I've used it for 3 hours today, but it was in the same charge cycle before I went to bed. So anyway, another look up close here. Again, like I said, this under yellow lighting, the phone looks beautiful, but under white lighting, it looks very, very washed out. Look at tinged natural titanium. So that's it. You're empowered. You know how to check your own battery life. You've heard my story. Let me know about your experience or what your expectations are in the comments. Do you think it's the best battery? How's your battery life going? Because I've heard some comments from people saying it's amazing, and it may just be in the amazing department. So, yeah, let's figure it out. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints, whatever's, air them out there in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys next time.